So I'm actually it's really honoured and privileged to perform this, to read this out to you from David, because when I read it stirred the blood for me. It made me think this is actually what we collectively as What Next have achieved. And so this is from David Land. Get well soon, David. 5 years ago, those of us who were around What Next said we thought it would be a 10-year project. Over that decade, what did we hope to achieve? Thinking about the way that artists, arts organisation and the arts in education operate in this country and the way they relate in their many and varied kinds of audiences and participants, we thought that what we wanted to do was change the culture. It was an ambitious phrase. If there was one change to the culture we wanted to achieve above all others, it was to break away from the assumption that the natural way for us all to relate to each other was on the basis of competition. Neoliberalism assumes that competition is king. And yes, it may well be that in certain ways and on certain levels it is good for us to compete. But for the arts, competition can never be the only way. We wanted to replace this assumption with another, that what is natural to us is to collaborate, to look always for mutual benefit in an infinite number of ways. Perhaps this conference is a good moment to look back at the beginning and to remember how this movement acquired its name. At the start of the coalition government, when it became clear that there would be a massive reduction in public investment across the board, a number of us gathered informally as leaders of arts organisations, big and small, the institutions and the pop-ups, the long-established and the new. And together we sent a letter to the Prime Minister of the day that asked a question. The government had stated that their priority was to reduce the underlying deficit by 50% in the life of one parliament. We asked, we understand that you will cut public investment in the arts and culture, but is this policy or expedience? If you achieve this 50% reduction, as we know, this target was soon reset and has since been abandoned, if you achieve it, will you then reinstate the previous level of investment, or will the cut remain? Here's our key question. What is your arts policy? Do you have one? What's coming? We need to plan, so if you know, then tell us. What's next? The Prime Minister replied with a version of "Calm down, dear. All will be fine. The lottery will bail you out." As we know, in fact, a 30% reduction in public investment in the arts and culture soon followed. So you might say that the first gathering had no positive outcome. But you'd be wrong. It did. It established a new way for us to come together. Positive, eager for action, non-hierarchical, always on the lookout for the highest common denominators that enable collective action as colleagues, as enthusiasts, as friends. That we have become a national movement has enabled us to continue to make the case for public investment in the arts strongly, effectively, and at the highest levels. But lobbying government, speaking with one voice, turned out not to be the only thing that we could achieve through collaboration. So what have we done? We've created 35 What Next chapters across the UK. We've formed strong alliances with the Cultural Learning Alliance, the Creative Industries Federation and the Arts Council. We've convened meetings with national networks, including the new Local Government Network, Arts Development UK, the Local Government Association, the Chief Leisure and Cultural Officers, the Chief Culture and Leisure Officers Association, the Core Cities Group, and the Cultural Commissioning Programme, so as to strengthen our relationships with local authorities. Through our system of setting up working subgroups, we've established an ethics and reputational risk project and submitted an advisory document to the Treasury on tax reform. We've made submissions to the Treasury in the lead up to the last two spending rounds, contributing to an unprecedented and unexpected standstill settlement. Our Arts for Britain campaign persuaded a number of local MPs to become national advocates for the arts. We've hosted high-level discussions with Culture and Education Secretaries of State and Ministers, with Shadow Secretaries and Ministers, including Harriet Harman, Jeremy Hunt, Maria Miller, Sajid Javid, John Whittingdale, Michael Gove, Ed Vasey, Tristram Hunt, Nick Gibb, Matt Hancock. Around the election, we convened all manner of hustings, debates and speeches. We arranged a round table for young people to contribute to Ed Vaiz's white paper, as well as What Next meetings at Conservative and Labour Party conferences. There have been public What Next debates at festivals, including Latitude, Green Man, Edinburgh and Wilderness. We launched Get Creative in partnership with the BBC, now in its second year. Through Get Creative, 1,000 arts and cultural organisations have developed a closer relationship with the BBC and have become champions of voluntary and participatory arts in their communities. We're partnering with the Calouste Gulbenkian Foundation on an inquiry into the civic role of cultural organisations. Up and down the country, we forged hundreds of unlikely alliances, as well as quite likely ones that really should have been forged many years ago. So, 5 years in, where are we now? In the lifespan of movements, social, religious or otherwise, there's a pattern. What starts as inspiration and is for a time energised and kept fluid and responsive to need and changed by enthusiasm and imagination and generosity, sometimes always hardens into structure, into bureaucracy. Rules arise, and then laws with sanctions, and in the end, punishments for those who dissent or disobey. We're 100 miles from that. For us, let's hope that is 100 years away. But even so, there sometimes grows the assumption that in What Next we have created an agency charged with providing a service according to certain fixed regulations that has some sort of duty to do so. Occasionally, for example, our 3 part-time executives are asked, "What's gone wrong? You should have fought for that or for this cause or organised this or that campaign." So here is what Next is really about. It began because a few felt it was needed. It took off because that proved to be true. No one was an expert in organisational design. We just did what seemed obvious. If it didn't work, we tried something different. We kept the door open. We made it up as we went along. If What Next has a message, it's this. If you feel something needs doing, just do it. A conversation should take place. A change is needed. An alliance should be struck, a policy revised or jettisoned just to make it happen. If you need an ally, find one. We are all around each other, no further than an email away. After years of sustained attack on our public realm, on the things that we do together, on all that we believe in together, on what is ours because it is shared, on what has been won into commonality over history by struggles of class and of race, whether the NHS or a common educational system, human rights, workers' rights, our forests, our cities, our parks, our libraries. We have created a new form of public realm. It is ourselves. It is the alliances we have forged between us, a network, a safety net, an umbrella, a canopy. We have discovered that we are each other's most powerful resource. Look at what we have done over these past few years and look at what we are achieving here today. Get well, Mr. Lan.